The truth hurts. Hi guys and girls, this is Blake from the Football Boots team, and today we're back at it revealing the truth about what boots professional footballers actually wear. Some of you may already know, but the big brands such as Nike and Adidas have a lineup of football stylists for the public, and more often than not, several pro footballers such as Messi, Ronaldo and Neymar are wearing something completely different. Note, this is no dig at a certain brand, we're simply saying what we see, so no hard feelings. We'll be looking at some of the biggest footballers currently playing at the moment, kicking things off with Messi and his nemesis. So Messi, as you all know, is Adidas' biggest headline player at the moment, recently revealing the brand new Nemesis line to the public. There are two primary issues with how Adidas reveal what Messi is wearing. One, in launch imagery, Messi always has the premium solo in his hand, seeing him holding the much more expensive and premium Nemesis 17 Plus 360 Agility. The main issue with this is that Messi himself doesn't actually wear this boot, he wears the Nemesis 17.1 cleat. Another example of this was when Adidas dropped their Pure Agility range in 2016 and Messi was clearly seen holding these boots in launch imagery, but on pitch he would wear the Messi 16.1, a completely different boot. The second issue is that Messi himself has his own custom version of the Nemesis 17.1. This is all fine and good as players have specific needs and requirements with boots, but the main problem with this is that if you're one of those fans or players wanting to wear Messi's exact boots, you won't ever get close to having his exact makeup in terms of materials and fit. Messi for a long time has been wearing his own custom specific models right back to the F50, the Adizero, the Messi 15.1 and other Messi solos. In most cases he would opt for a leather version which would not be available to buy, you could only buy the synthetic versions. On his actual Nemesis 17.1 boots, it looks very close to the real deal. Potentially Messi has his own custom upper material while the Nemesis branding is replaced by Messi branding. Adidas have done well with the actual design template of the Nemesis as it does a good job of hiding the features. Next up is Ronaldo, who is and has been the face of the Superfly for several years now, but does he actually wear the retail version? The answer is yes and no. Ronaldo's Superflies have all the same tech specs as a retail version bar one key difference, the collar. Ronaldo right back in mid-2014 prior to the World Cup had a smaller collar version made for him. Personal preference or performance, CR7 still uses that same shortened collar on his current Superfly 5 boots. Guess he, like me and Matt here at the Football Boots team, don't actually like the dynamic fit collar by Nike. Now on to world record signing Neymar, who you guys will be thinking, why is he in this video? Because currently he's wearing the retail version of his Written in the Stars Vapor 11, but back in the day, being the big name for the Hybrid Phantom 2 generation, he wore his own custom version of the silo. This was one of the biggest controversies as Neymar loved the first gen Hybrid, wearing every colorway including his Golden Dream and Liquid Diamond editions, but when Nike added a stiffer upper and collar to the Hybrid 2, then we started to have problems. Neymar 1 hated the collar and 2 did not like the upper, so what did Nike do? Firstly, Neymar ended up wearing a low cut model even though he would appear in launch imagery holding the collared version Phantom 2. Nike also then made a custom version of the low cut finish which essentially was a Vapor 10 but disguised as a Hybrid Venom. This occurred for several colorways throughout 2015 and 2016 until he officially switched silo to the Mercurial Vapor 11 in late 2016. Now onto a boot silo rather than a particular player. We'll look at the current X17 range and previous X ranges such as the X16. The four headline pros to market and wear this range is Gareth Bale, Luis Suarez, Karim Benzema and Marcelo. Most recently, when Adidas launched their Ocean Storm collection, each player was seen holding the X17 Plus Pure Speed, which is the more premium silo in the X17 range. But what boots do they actually wear? Quite uniquely, Luis Suarez is the only player to wear the Pure Speed, with Bale, Benzema and Marcelo wearing the X17.1. This is simply another case of brilliant marketing from Adidas. Gareth Bale and Marcelo even wear their own custom version of the X17.1, which features a tongue and custom upper, most likely taken from the Pure Speed. In 2016, Suarez headlined the X16 Plus Pure Chaos in product launches, but he was well known for wearing the X16.1. He only recently switched to the Pure Speed. The same goes with Diego Costa, who marketed the Pure Chaos but wore a custom version of the X16 taking features from an F50. At Euro 2016, Bale needed 2 free kicks for Wales, and right when he scored, Adidas posted on their social media accounts of him holding the Pure Chaos, but he clearly was wearing something different, that being a custom X15.1 version in a very old black, white and pink colorway. Andres Iniesta, Nike's biggest Magista wearer, marketed the Oba 2 before switching to the low-cut Opus several weeks later, and then he made Nike custom the upper to be softer and thinner. England internationals Harry Kane and Ross Barkley are known to have their own custom version of the Finish and Phantom boots, while Arturo Vidal, Isco, Leroy Sané, Mateo Kovacic are players who have physically cut the collar on their Nike boots. Back in 2015, when Adidas launched their Ace 15.1, the likes of Ozil, Lam, Xabi Alonso, Neuer and James Rodriguez all all had the same custom sole plate instead of the retail Total Control sole plate, which has a ridiculous 46 conical studs on its sole plate. So a lot of players from Nike and Adidas are actually customizing their own boots. If we switch up brands and look at New Balance with their Vasaro, Aaron Ramsey and Marouane Fellaini were the two biggest Vasaro wearers who were seen in product launches in 2016 and 2017, but did they actually wear the boot? At first yes, but then Ramsey was seen in training customizing his Vasaro by using a completely different upper, and the same goes with Fellaini. For a time, the Belgian wore a custom red Vasaro which used a completely different upper. So this is a great example of players tied in with brand contracts having to wear a designated solo but asking their specific brand to customize their boots so they can still wear that given boot. Fellaini could only wear his custom solo for so long before recently switching to Nike with their Tiempo Legend. Now back to Adidas with the Ace 17 range. Now the majority of Ace wearers wear either the Ace 17.1 or the Ace Leather. Adidas's premium Ace Solo, the Pure Control, is just headlined by a few athletes including Pogba, Özil, Rakitic and Dele Alli. Adidas have struggled to keep players in their Pure Control mainly because of its laces construction. The likes of Mats Hummels, Nacho and Miralem Pjanic were seen in Ocean Storm launch imagery holding the Pure Control, but the three of them actually wear the Primeknit or Leather Ace versions. The percentage of Pure Control wearers in the Ace range is actually less than 5% in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Professionals such as Per Mertesacker, Jordi Alba, Mats Hummels, Phil Jones, Javi Martinez, Moussa Dembele, Adrien Rabiot and many more prefer either the Leather or the Ace Primeknit versions instead of the Pure Control. If we quickly look at Adidas footballers as a whole, the percentage of players wearing their premium models, that being the Pure Control, the Pure Speed and the Nemesis 360 Agility, is less than 20%, with most footballers preferring the Leather, 17.1 or even older generations. The likes of these Adidas players, Manuel Neuer, David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Cesar Azpilicueta, Toni Kroos, Socrates and Marc-Andre ter Stegen all now wear defunct boots, so these players aren't just avoiding the high-end models but the entire generation completely. Another great example of this is Vincent Kompany, who is now what we call a boot-free agent. He's no longer tied in with a deal with any brand, so over the past year or so he's been wearing the Black Stella A16.1 Leather and most notably tweeted this. It's just an example of what some footballers really want in a pair of football boots. Sometimes when new generations come out, more often than not, several players prefer the older generations because 1, that's what they're used to, and 2, they don't like the fit and feel of the new generation. On to Puma now with their 117.1 Solo. The likes of Sergio Aguero, Antoine Griezmann and Michael Royce headline the boot. And yes, you guessed it, do these players actually wear this boot? The answer is yes and no. The likes of Antoine Griezmann and Michael Royce market the boot, but on pitch they've been wearing the older Everspeed generation, with Griezmann seen here wearing this fresh model in training. So it's not just Adidas and Nike who have problems with professionals sticking with their particular boots. On to Kevin De Bruyne now with Nike. For most of his career he's been a big Mercurial wearer, but then all of a sudden he switched to the Magista Obra 2 in 2016. A definitive boot switch for De Bruyne or Nike paying him to wear the Obra? It's definitely the latter. At the time in mid-2016, Nike lacked any big names for the Obra, so I think they must have paid him slightly more to wear the Magista range instead of the Mercurial. This is all well and good, but we're just letting you know that big brands sometimes have more influence than you think when players switch boots and brands. Preseason is the best time for boot spotting, as professionals are switching between boots and brands to find out the best fit for them. It also reveals the truest look at how and what players want in a football boot. Romelu Lukaku, for example, signed for Manchester United in the summer. In preseason in the US, he wore 6 different boot ranges in training. He wore the Adidas Nemesis and X17.1 boots at first before switching back to Nike with his trusty Phantom and Finish boots, and then on to the Vapor 11 and X16.1 leather before finally making the decision on the Phantom 2 boots. In the 2016-17 season, Zlatan Ibrahimovic wore both Nike and Adidas boots, switching between the Vapor 10 and 11 and Adidas's X16.1 and leather versions. Another great example is that of Sergio Ramos, who as we all know is Nike's biggest Tiempo wearer, but in Real Madrid training, several pictures came through of him testing the Harden Phantom 3DF. This just shows that players who have been marketing wearing a specific solo may not actually like the boot or new generation. The curious case of Paulo Dybala is probably the best example of pros trying out different cleats. All of last season, Dybala headlined the Superfly 5 and then switched to blackouts wearing 3 brands, that of Nike's Superfly, Adidas's Pure Speed and X17.1, and Puma's 117.1. What boot he decides to wear may come down to the brand who forks out the most money for his signature, or Dybala himself may opt for a particular boot and brand himself. So that's it. The overall conclusion is that brands such as Nike and Adidas tie in the biggest footballers for marketing purposes, and in most cases players have custom uppers, sole plates and molds to suit their needs. The sad truth is that in most cases you can never get close to wearing the exact same boots that your football idols wear, such as Ronaldo, Messi, Bale and many more. I would like Adidas, Nike or Puma to create custom mold fitting boot stations worldwide so every player, amateur alike, can wear something close to what the pros are actually wearing. Please comment below and thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.